Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani klekbas wanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You're joined by Ashwin Bedi and Glenora Shipura.
Good morning, Ashwin.
Good morning, Glenn.
Let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. Mali says it will not respect ECOWAS treaties withdrawal notice period. Civilians flee as M23 rebels threaten to take Sake, Goma sites. And world sees first 12 months above 1.5 degrees Celsius warming level, according to a climate monitor. A little bit later on, we'll also be speaking to Mike Sechula, who'll be telling us what's happening in Zambia. We'll be right back with our top stories.
Let me show you something. Don't worry. Next time, I check nice.
Thanks, but it's okay. FNB Insurance checks nicer.
At FNB Insurance, we provide cover for all your valuables. From your phone, to your laptop, to your car. FNB Insurance. You value it, we cover it. T's and C's apply.
Getting into our top stories, Mali said it would not wait a year to leave the Economic Community of West African States, as is required by the Bloc's Treaty. Mali and its neighbors, Niger, Burkina Faso, all run by military juntas, announced last month that they were immediately leaving ECOWAS, West Africa's main political and economic bloc, reversing decades of regional integration. All three formally notified the ECOWAS Commission of their decisions to leave the bloc in written notices dated January 29, which according to the treaty means that they would still be bound by membership until 1 year from that date. In a statement posted online, Mali's foreign ministry said that ECOWAS had violated its own texts by closing its borders to Mali when it imposed sanctions on the military regime. Consequently, the government of the Republic of Mali is no longer bound by the deadline constraints mentioned in Article 91 of the revised treaty, the statement said.
In our next story, one of Eastern Congo's most active rebel groups is attacking a community considered the last line of defense before the region's largest city of Goma. Fleeing residents said on Wednesday, even as rebels claimed they had no intention to seize it again. The M23 rebels in a statement, however, warned that attacks targeting our forces and / or indiscriminate shelling of civilian population will be dealt with at their source. The group rose to prominence a decade ago by seizing Goma, an important base for Congolese forces and for an important base for Congolese forces and for humanitarian workers. The M23, with alleged ties to Rwanda, detonated explosives in North Kivu's Sake city, 27 kilometers from Goma, residents said, as they hurried from fighting between the rebels and security forces. African News correspondent said the rebels had cut off the road which connects the city of Goma to the province of the South Kivu via Minova. An aid worker in Sake, Mark Seres, said another aid worker was killed in Wednesday's bombing and called for urgent support. Locals say the deadly unrest has worsened in recent weeks.
Now, Earth has endured 12 months of temperatures 1.5 degrees Celsius hotter than the pre-industrial era for the first time on record, Europe's climate monitor said yesterday in what scientists called a warning to humanity. Storms, drought and fire have lashed the planet as climate change, supercharged by the naturally occurring El Niño phenomenon, stoked record warming in 2023, making it likely the hottest in 100,000 years. The extremes have continued into 2024. Copernicus Climate Change Service said, confirming that February 2023, January 2024 saw warming of 1.52 degrees Celsius above the 19th century benchmark.
In our next story, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has raised the monthly minimum wage by 50% to £6,000 to take effect in March, part of a £180 billion urgent social protection package. the presidency said on Wednesday. The move comes at a time when Egypt is on a pound devaluation watch. Some analysts said a 200 basis point interest rate hike by the central bank last week may indicate a devaluation is on the way. The Egyptian pound fixed at 30.85 to the dollar since March, traded on the black market earlier this month as low as 71 to the dollar, but has strengthened since then to about 60. Sisi also directed the government to raise the tax threshold by 33% from £45,000 to £60,000 for all employees in the public and private sectors, the presidency statement said. The social package included an added increase in the wages of state workers, but a minimum ranging from £1,000 to £1,200 per month as of March. The International Monetary Fund said on Thursday it had agreed with Egypt on the key policy components of an economic reform program, in a further sign that a final deal to augment a $3 billion loan is nearing completion.
And Meta said it's working with other tech firms on standards that will let it better detect and label artificial intelligence-generated images shared with its billions of users. The Silicon Valley social media titan expects to have a system in place in a matter of months to identify and tag AI-created images posted on its Facebook, Instagram, and Threads platforms. It's not perfect. It's not going to cover everything. The technology is not fully matured, Meta head of global affairs Nick Clegg told AFP. While Meta has implemented visible and invisible tags on images created using its own AI tools since December, it also wants to work with other companies to maximize the transparency the users have, Clegg added. Now, Namibia, Africa, and indeed the world is still mourning the death of the late President Dr. Hage G. Geingob. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres also paid tribute to the late president during the UN General Assembly 55th plenary meeting 78th session the day before yesterday. This footage is courtesy of United Nations Web TV.
The tributes from his fellow African leaders hail him as an icon of liberation and a powerful voice for Africa and African unity. Excellencies, democracy, self-determination and human rights for all animated the life and work of President Geingob. Today, these values are under attack. Around the world, international law is being flouted, human rights are being trampled, authoritarianism is on the rise, and inequality is rife. And as we pay tribute to the memory of President Geingob, let us commit to honoring the values that he stood for, by fighting racism, misogyny and injustice, by standing up for human rights, and by working to build a more equal world in which no one is left behind. Excellencies, at this difficult time, I offer my solidarity and warmest wishes to the people of Namibia and President Geingob's family. I think particularly of his wife, Mrs. Monica Geingos, an advocate for youth inclusion and leadership, who has been a strong presence here at the United Nations over the years, and of Namibia's new president, Nangolo Mbumba, who now leads a grieving nation. The United Nations will continue its strong friendship with Namibia as we work to build a more equal world for all, a world of dignity and human rights.
Now, the Namibian embassy in Zambia has opened a book of condolences following the death of President Hage G. Geingob. Here to give us more on that story and others is Mike Sichula. Mike, take it away. Muribwanji.
Muribwanji, Africa, good morning. Yes, indeed, the Namibian embassy has been receiving visitors extending their condolences to the late president. President Edgar Chagwa, President Hakainde Hichilema there in the picture is seen signing the book of condolences. And when he was interviewed outside the premises, he did indicate that President Geingob was a president that did not want instability in the region. The president said that recalled that President Geingob called on African leaders to at all times seek for dialogue as opposed to engaging in acts of instability. And also the other political leaders that have visited the Namibian embassy include Socialist Party Opposition Party President Fred Membe, who is challenging President Hichilema. He also highly regarded President Gengo as having been one of those liberation icons of the Southern African region. And he paid tribute to the people of Namibia and called on them to mourn the late president with dignity and honor.
He was definitely an iconic leader indeed. Getting into your next story, China plans to invest over $1 billion in the revitalization of the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority. Can you get into this?
Yes, China has built the existing Tazara during the reign of former President Kaunda Julius Nyerere of Tanzania and Chairman Mao of China. So this railway has been in existence for more than 50 years, and China plans to fund about $1 billion to ensure to revamp the Tazara line, which has not gone under massive rehabilitation after these 50 years of being in operation. China views the Tazara rail line as one of the landmark investments in Africa, and it does not want the rail line to be left without any modernization. So during the visit of the Chinese ambassador to the Zambia's transport minister, Frank Tayari, the Chinese embassy pledged that this project is going to be one of those that will see the Tazara rail line being modernized with modern fittings in order to meet the growing demand of railroad transport within the African region.
All right, now in a related development, President Hakainde Hichilema is calling for best technologies in the construction of the Lobito Railway project. Do tell us more.
Yeah, this yesterday, President Hichilema, when he addressed the private sector meeting in Lusaka, where the private investors are being engaged to ensure that they support this project. So during that meeting, President Hichilema called for best technologies and cheaper capital in order for Africa to ensure that this construction of the Lobito Corridor rail line is undertaken within the shortest possible time. So the Lobito Corridor connects Zambia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, into Angola. So it is expected that the American government, with the discovery of copper in one of the mines that they have, one of the mines where some Americans have invested, this is the corridor that will be used to transport this mineral from Zambia into Angola, thereafter into the United States of America. So according to Zambian authorities, they say once this corridor is operational, it is expected that Zambia will at least benefit about $15 billion in terms of transport of these minerals to other African countries, as well as other international countries such as America. So it is something that President Hichilema has labeled as, if it is actualized, that it will be a dramatic project that has taken place in Zambia since Zambia attained independence in 1964.
Well, that definitely sounds like a worthy investment. Getting into your last story, a male massage therapist has denied accusations that he sexually assaulted a female client at a five-star hotel. What exactly happened here?
So what happened is that the female client was recommended by a cousin to say, if you go to Pamozi Hotel, which is a five-star hotel in Lusaka, you are going to be given the best massage that you need. So this married woman went to this massage parlor, and he was attended to by a male therapist who is named Musonda. So Musonda conducted the massage to the best of his way of doing it. But however, at some point, the woman claimed that she was sexually assaulted because the way the massage was conducted left her traumatized, and also she did not like it because the therapist went overboard in terms of conducting this massage. So she had sued the therapist she had sued him, and the matter is before the courts of law. So a lot of media, social bloggers, media have been on this story for some time. So as we speak, the matter is in court, and also the hotel has pledged to provide video evidence to show to it that their employee did not do anything wrong. But the woman has insisted that she was left traumatized and she needs to be compensated, and also that she may be protect other would be people that can be may not be massaged accordingly. So this is the case that is before the courts of law, and as it goes on, we'll be able to inform our viewers what the outcome will be.
Yikes. Thank you, Mike, for bringing us the news stories from Zambia.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning.
Africa, good morning indeed.
We'll now take a look at the weather predictions before we return with your economic news. Let's go.
Getting into economic news, Africa's biggest pay TV company, MultiChoice Group, opens a new, said on Thursday its subsidiaries have reached a settlement with Nigerian tax authorities and agreed to pay a total tax amount of about $37.3 million. Nigeria's Federal Inland Revenue Service froze MultiChoice Nigeria's accounts in 2022 and served MultiChoice Group with a 1.8 trillion naira tax claim for its Nigeria operation and a $342 million claim for value-added taxes. The group said in a statement the total tax amount of 35.4 billion naira to be paid by MultiChoice Nigeria and MultiChoice Africa Holdings will be offset against the security deposits and good faith payments made to debt.
Getting into our next story, ArcelorMittal South Africa opens new tab, said on Thursday it would defer the closure of its long steel business by 6 months as the steelmaker pursues various initiatives with the government, state utilities and workers. The company said there was constructive progress in the engagements with several interventions that could salvage the business and save 3,500 jobs at risk from the closure of the unit. Now the company is able to announce the deferral of the wind down of the long business to allow for its continued operation for up to 6 months, the company said in a statement.
All right, let's head to the economic indicators just before Ari Hohat comes through with the sport.
Every day, you make choices that make you legendary. Journey together with us on the path to securing your legacy as a member of the League of Legends. With the Select Platinum Bundle Fee Premium Bank offering, you will access tools that will enable you to thrive. If you earn 850,000 Namibian dollars per annum or more, you can apply for this offering today via bankvintage.com.na for only 447 Namibian dollars per month. Bank Vintage, a member of Capricorn Group.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with rugby first. It is Six Nations news. It is the Six Nations rugby, the six best rugby teams in Europe playing. It will be week 2 this coming weekend, and the news from France is that Paul Willemse, their lock, he's been banned for 2 weeks. That's after receiving a red card in France's home game against Ireland that France lost. It was Ireland that won that first game, and it is France that play against Scotland. That's a away game for them, so it is Paul Willemse suspended for 2 games. He will miss the game against Scotland and also miss the next game against Italy. Also news from England is that England play against Wales. That will be at Twickenham, and they hope that injured prop Ellis Genge will be ready to play. He was a late withdrawal. That was before England's first game against Italy that England won, and he had a foot injury. But it is expected that he'll be back to play at Twickenham against Wales this coming weekend. The other game on this weekend is Ireland that will host Italy. On to cricket news. South Africa playing a 2-test series against New Zealand. That is in New Zealand. The first test, a big win for New Zealand. That game is done. There's going to be 2 tests played, and it's New Zealand that won by 281 runs. South Africa had to chase a massive 4th innings score of 528 to win, and they were bowled out for 247 in their 2nd innings, with only David Bedingham. He scored some runs, 87 runs for the South African Proteas. The second test will be played at Hamilton, and that will be from the 13th to the 17th of February. And it is mostly of all of the first choice test players of the Proteas at the moment playing the SA20 series in South Africa, not available for the test series against New Zealand. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is soccer news and news from Liverpool. They're looking for a new coach, and that is after Jurgen Klopp announced that he will step down at the end of the season. And the news is that they reportedly made contact with Bayern Leverkusen coach. His name is Xabi Alonso, and Xabi Alonso, he also played for Liverpool between 2004 and 2009. He played 143 games for Liverpool. Not very experienced in coaching. Bayern Leverkusen is his first top-class team that he's coached. And Alonso was also part of the Spain team in 2010 as a player that won the World Cup in South Africa. More soccer news from Manchester United is that they're trying to recruit some younger players in the summer, that is the European summer, and they're looking to sign the French under-21 winger. His name is Michael Olise. He currently plays for Crystal Palace, and it's also reported that Manchester United trying to find the signature of England defender, that's a 21-year-old Jared Branthwaite, and he's currently playing for Everton. And then also news from Chelsea is that their midfielder Enzo Fernandez, he seems to not be happy at the club. At the moment, it is Chelsea that battle their 11th on the English Premier League with 31 points. And it is reported that the Argentinian midfielder Enzo Fernandez wants to leave the club. And he signed a massive deal of $115 million, and that is to be at the club for 8 years. He's only been there for 1 year. And the players and Fernandez not happy with the current coach, Mauricio Pochettino, and he's still the coach till the end of the year. That is what Chelsea indicated. But that's the news from Chelsea and all over the world. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Now, as you know, the Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals concluded on Wednesday, which means we know who the finalists are. Tomorrow, the first game that's going to be played, this is prior to the final, at 10 p.m. is going to be South Africa and DRC. That's the 3rd place playoff. The winner of that gets bronze. And then on Sunday, it's the big one. The hosts Ivory Coast, who at some point thought they were out of the tournament, at some point suffered a 4-0 loss against Nigeria, who has not lost at all in this tournament. And that will be the final, a clash of giants at the Africa Cup of Nations. You're still with Africa Good Morning. Let's head into the highlights. Civilians flee as M23 rebels threaten to take Sake, Goma cities. World sees first 12 months above 1.5 degrees Celsius warming level, climate monitor says. Egypt raises minimum wage by 50% as part of urgent package. MultiChoice will pay a settlement to Nigerian tax authorities.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning. From me, Glenn Rashipura.
And me, Ashwin Berry. Suraj Jakaraka.